The Secret Lounge is normally a Patreon exclusive show, but we've opened it up to the public for a few episodes. If you want to see previous episodes with guests like C. Robert Cargill, James Willems, and AJ Lacasio, and lots of other awesome behind-the-scenes features, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy. My guest today is one of the best action figure reviewers on YouTube, and furthermore, one of the best action figure posers, a fantastic photographer, an advocate for all the good things about the hobby, and whether or not he wants to admit it, a ruthless salesperson, the most vocal proponent of staying hydrated that I know, and featured guest at PowerCon this summer from August 11th through 13th in Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to the Secret Lounge. D-Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going?
First of all, who wrote that intro? Because that was the best thing you could ever write about me. I didn't even know I do half of those things.
Yeah, I wrote it, so I'll copy paste it to you in a message so you can put on like your channel description.
That was sensational. I'm like written by Toy Galaxy Dan.
There you go. There you go. Do I call you D or Mr. Amazing?
Whichever one you prefer. I prefer D because one letter is just so easier.
Excellent. I'm also a D, so I get it.
D&D connection. I always love those.
There you go. First off, thank you very much for being here. I'm glad we finally had a chance to chat. We interact a lot on social media, but we haven't really had a chance to have a casual conversation structured as an interview for an audience on YouTube. So this is perfect.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
The thing I really want to start with, it's one of the things that plagues me and has plagued me for pretty much my entire life. I have a hard time explaining it. So I'm hoping maybe you can verbalize it better than I have.
Okay. What's
the deal with action figures? Like, what? Why do we like them so much? What do they do? What do you do with them?
I'm going to tell you my story. With action figures, they do what we cannot. It is that simple. They do what we cannot. Spider-Man can Spider-Man. The only thing that comes close to any of us is that we all kind of wish we were as muscular as Batman, but everything, and be a billionaire, but everything else, they just do what we can. But that's the character stuff. Like what is it about that object? You know, it's, you got one sitting there, you probably got one in your hand. I got one in front of me here. There's all over the shelves. Like, they are physical representations of the things that we enjoy. So you can't physically enjoy a show. That's unless you scream and cry in. This is that, those memories locked into this. That's what it is for us. It's either that or we all have the same disease. It's just undiagnosed. It's one or the other.
Why worry about that? Like, I worry about the influence of, you know, the way that, you know, this stuff is, you're exposed to it as a kid and you're locked into the media, you're watching the shows, you're playing the games, you're reading the comic books, you've got the action figures, you know, and like at some point, you know, it's like people disconnect with that. And so it's like, but there's still this community of people who that's still just as important to us for our entertainment and for our jobs as anything else, you know?
I think that, and this is tough because I think about this a lot, and it's like an intrusive thought of mine. It's like, is something wrong with me because I enjoy these so much? I actually, that's a weirdly intrusive thought. I talk to friends about it all the time. I'm always talking to my wife about it, and she's always like ensuring me like, no, it's fine. Even friends that have nothing to do with action figures will tell me like, no, I think for you it's a little healthy because it's part of the job. Because when it wasn't your job, you didn't have as much as you have now. Like when you weren't doing this 24/7. So I think there was a healthy part of it for you. It's just that you combine work with what you love. So now it feels overwhelming. So you're worried. Because I guarantee you, if me and you didn't do this for any sort of work, we'd have a lot, but nowhere near as much.
No, that's absolutely true. And obviously you had a toy collection long before you started your channel, as did I. And I think about that a lot because, you know, a lot of my enjoyment of action figures and collecting and just having the stuff comes from posting pictures on Instagram, sharing on social media, shooting the videos, talking about the stuff. And I almost have to force myself to remember what it was like before that social community aspect of it existed. Like, why was I doing it then? You know, I just like the stuff. It made me happy.
Do you do like what I do? Do you like tune out social media for a time and just play with them on your own and do stuff? Because that's what I do to make sure that I know I still love it.
You know, I think for me, it has become, it's the rearrangement of the shelves. It's the, what do I have on display? Who's grouped together? How are they posed? You know, that's where it sort of becomes a more selfish act where it's just for me. You know, if I'm shooting a picture, if I'm taking pictures and that sort of thing, that's where it's for other people. I don't care necessarily what the other people think of that photo or what the comments are. I am sharing it publicly, so I expect criticism. I expect agreement or disagreement. I like this better. I like that better. But at the end of the day, the act of, you know, photographing it, that's purely for my enjoyment. And so I wonder if I had had easy access to a camera 24 hours a day before social media existed, would I still have been taking pictures of it just for my own satisfaction? And I don't know if I can answer that.
Because I was doing it before I got on social media, I can confirm this is what I did. So at least you could take some solace in that. Maybe you would have, right?
Yeah.
I can confirm when it was just like point and click cameras back in the day. Remember when DSLRs were just inaccessible 15 years ago? Like you could not get a DSLR unless you were like super rich.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I saved up a lot of college money for that. So like even now, like I'll take this toy, and when we were even off camera, I would just sit in there fiddling it with, playing with it. And I literally love that. Like, I'm like thinking of like how I'm going to set it up. And I've always done that even before social media. Because back then I didn't have dioramas. It was just green satin sheets or blue satin sheets that I would just find and was like, this looks cool with this draping. And I'm like, you know, that was just it.
I've told the story before. My first real job that I tried to get, I was applying at Burger King down the street from where I lived in Rhode Island at the time. And the only reason I wanted to get a job was so I could buy a video camera to start making stop motion films with action figures. That was my goal. What was I going to do with them? I don't know. There was no distribution system. It was just, I was going to be making it for myself. And that was in like 1991, maybe, you know,
look at that.
Long before the internet existed. And then for my senior project in 1994, they basically gave us a video camera from the art department. They didn't give it to us. We didn't get to keep it. I didn't go to that kind of school.
That would have been amazing. I'm like, wait, what?
No, it was public high school. So they was like, you hang on to this, and if anything happens to it, you're on the hook for it.
Yeah, you pay for this for the rest of your college.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my senior project, was basically like, here's a video camera. Go make a video about yourself, quote unquote, you know? Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I play basketball. I'm going to shoot some stuff of me playing basketball. And, you know, oh, my friends and I like making movies. So we're going to shoot this little movie at the movie theater that we work at. But then I also threw in some stop motion. And at the time, you know, like Gundam hadn't really hit the US yet. So I had to import Gundam MS War in a Pocket, you know, figure that was at the time the most articulated thing I'd ever seen.
It's worth so much money now. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's pretty beat to hell at this point, but yeah, it's great. And my comic book shop had imported it. This was before Mobile Suit in Action, any of that stuff. And I was just amazed at how articulated it was. And yeah, there's a stop motion. I want to get it transferred over from VHS. I still have the VHS tape. It's terrible. It's like,
I got to see this now.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I want to see it again. It's basically just like, you know, like it's like, you know, he's standing there and like the hand comes up, you know, and grabs the beam saber, and then he like turns, and that's it. It's like 5 seconds.
Hey, but you know what? Think about 5 seconds of that on a VHS. How long that could have taken.
Yeah. Oh, I had the whole two VCRs set up, the TV. I was running the whole thing. Yeah, no, it was a big deal. But to your point, yeah, no, that's it was still important enough to me at the time to use it as a medium for self-expression, for telling a story, for art's sake. I didn't have anybody to share it with. It was literally just going to be for me, you know. It's crazy. It's a crazy thing to think about.
Because I think about how, now that you said that, like, that could also be it. This could be a self-expression for us, like anime or animation. I don't understand why people don't think that toy photography is not in the realm of that. Because when I take photos of toys, I feel like people understand me a lot better than they would with words.
Yeah. Well, and you know, you're one of the few people I know that are into you know, tokusatsu type stuff, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and stuff. Did you read comics growing up? Do you still read comics? Were you into comics, cartoons, anime, tokusatsu, all that stuff? Like that all informs what you do now. Was there ever a time where you considered pursuing one of those, like trying to be a comic book artist, trying to get into games, you know?
I interned at Marvel to get in at Marvel.
Okay.
That's how I got a lot of connections that I know now. I interned very good, met a ton of people. It didn't work out in comics, but I did end up in licensing, which was a wild departure for a little while. I did that for a little while, but it was funny because all while doing that and realizing I couldn't get into Marvel, I told myself, you know what? I'm going to train. And at this time, I was probably in the best shape of my life. I trained to be a stuntman in Japan. Like I was like, I'm going to go apply and try.
Go be a suit actor.
Yeah, and I tried because I have the height. I'm short enough at the time. Like it would, people aren't that tall. And I tried out. Test fitted to be, a mook. Didn't really work out, so I tried it. And I tried a bunch of other things, and it didn't really work out. But I was like, you know what? I'm still going to find a way to take what I love and continue pursuing it. Weirdly enough, none of those things worked out. Like not a single bit.
Yeah.
Like none of it. Like I failed at every single thing, but it didn't deter me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get a real job. So I did. And, and I was just like, I'm going to take pictures and do picture stuff. But
I love that story. I love the idea of you, trying out to be a suit actor in Japan on a tokusatsu show, because I was there too. I had that same mindset of like, I need to learn karate. I need to learn, martial arts, because I want to be, I got my Sun Vulcan shirt here on. Yeah. I want to be in one of these shows,
But it's crazy because I will tell you now, the easiest thing would have been if we had taken ballet. We probably would have been taking it. Ballet and choreography.
Yeah.
No amount of muscle mass would have helped us. Yeah.
Physical. Yeah. Yeah.
And I had the choreography. Just didn't have the language.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a big barrier.
I was when I moved to Colorado in 2000, somewhere around there, driving into, I was on the bus, driving into Colorado, you pass by Six Flags, Denver, whatever it is. And at the time they were getting ready to start their Batman stunt show. And I was like, that's it. That's why I'm here. I am here to try out to be Batman in the Batman stunt show at Six Flags.
Why not? Why not give it a shot?
What tripped me up was you had to be able to ride a motorcycle, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to close that gap, that knowledge gap fast enough.
Because I could have closed that gap at that time. I was riding motorcycles.
Yeah.
Which is,
do you think that would have been easier than learning Japanese?
Yeah, riding a bike is so easy. Learning Japanese, not so much.
Hey, I've been trying it.
Duolingo. I've seen you.
Yeah, 878 days or whatever. The problem is I'm too old. I'm like trying real hard.
Right?
Everything's, all the paths are already, they're etched in. I can't change them.
You would have to give up some Boba Fett's for that.
I don't think that'll do it. If that would do it, I would do it in a second. But I think what I need is I need better immersion. My fight or flight mechanism hasn't kicked in.
Are you conversing with people in real time in Japanese?
That's the problem. No.
I'll bother you with some Japanese later.
Okay.
I'm watching stupid things daily.
I've done everything I can to immerse myself in it. I listen to Japanese music all the time, watching Japanese TV shows all the time. I have a whole playlist of YouTube videos that's like, learn the kanji, learn the katakana, learn the hiragana. Here's language, here's listening practice, here's whatever. But the fact that I don't get to actively speak it, it doesn't hold.
You should tell your wife that you
ask
take
my
2 days
wife.
out of the week. No, I'm gonna tell you. Here's what I'm gonna tell you, because she's gonna love this. Because you tell her to yell at you, and you're only allowed to respond nicely in Japanese.
Okay, so she's doing Duolingo with German, so we can have a fun afternoon.
So it's perfect because she'll only speak to you in German. You'll only reply in Japanese.
Exactly.
So that way you know she's mad at you, because if she says something in German, you can reply back in Japanese.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
She started. Credit to her. She started with Japanese. Yeah. And if you're going in cold to Japanese, there's a curve. It is a steep mountain to climb. You got to want to learn it. And, German, her family she has German heritage. Yeah. So she remembers her grandmother and her great grandmother, all those people speaking German in the house. So it's in the blood, it's in the genes and stuff. And so that seems to have been something she's been able to attack a little bit better.
I learned Spanish by being around my diverse city. But more importantly, when you hear enough people speak Spanish, you want to learn.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. You got to be immersed in it. Learning Spanish for me was a lot easier because of that.
We had Spanish in high school. My high school, we had 3 years of Spanish. So that stuck, 16, 17, 18 years old. That stuck with me. I still remember almost all the Spanish I learned in high school. So when I switch over to Spanish on Duolingo, just to take a break from Japanese, I'm like banging through it. No problem. It's like super easy. It's like a second language. But then my senior year, they introduced Japanese. And to this day, I'm so angry at them for not having introduced that sooner. If I could have had 4 straight years of Japanese and then follow that into college,
you'd have been set.
So annoying, so annoying. But have you learned some Japanese? Do you just?
I know basic Japanese, but it was enough to get me through Japan. So
you need to get on Duolingo. It's free. It's not a sponsorship.
No, it's fine. I saw you doing it and I was like, I'm gonna get Duolingo, but I need to free up space on both my laptop and my phone because it's full of pictures.
I don't think you can even do it on your laptop, so don't worry about that.
Okay, so I'll take it up on my phone.
Yeah, it's literally just an app, and it's really annoying because the free version you have to sit through all the stupid commercials.
No, I'm gonna pay for it. I don't do ads.
All right, yeah, I paid for it for a while, and then I was like, nah, I just don't feel like paying for it again.
What is it, like $8?
I think I would have to look up the terms. It's like $80 or something for like a year. You pay for a year, monthly, whatever. Anyway,
but I would want to do it. I would want to give it a real shot. So $80, I can't say that's terrible.
Yeah. It's
you can't learn anything in 12 months is your fault.
No, that's not true.
No. I mean, like you got to learn something. Like if I could walk away.
Oh, you mean if you don't learn anything? Yeah. Hey,
so I learn one thing, I'm happy.
I set the goal. So Star Wars Celebration 2025 is going to be in Japan, right? Like they're not doing one for 2024. The next one's in Japan, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to get someone, Hasbro, somebody, Lucasfilm. Somebody's going to invite me there because I'm going to have passed. There's the 5 levels of the Japanese language proficiency test, the JLPT.
Yeah.
There's 5 levels of proficiency. The easiest one. The first one is the 5, and you work your way up to 1. 1 is like so hard that even like natural speakers have a problem with it. It'd be like, throwing a grammar test at me right now for English. Like I can speak English, but if you threw a test at me, I would be like, I don't know.
First of all, don't test me on English. English sucks as a language. English sucks.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
So my goal is right now it's June 27th. My goal is to take and pass because there's one in Boston. There's the JLPT N5 this October. So the entry level proficiency, and then next year maybe hit the 4, so that by the time Star Wars Celebration 2025 rolls around, people are going to be begging me to represent them because you can speak. Yeah, you can speak Japanese, so come represent us, and I'll be like, yes, hi, yes.
All right, cool. You know what? I'm gonna bother you about that because this is gonna be great. Because I'm gonna contact some of my friends in Japan, and be like, you know this guy? You should know this guy.
Look, if you get on Duolingo, and this is a private conversation, just D-Amazing and I are having this conversation for whoever's watching. If you get on Duolingo, I am like so competitive that I won't sleep if it's like, if I get a message that's like, oh, D-Amazing just completed blah, blah, blah. He's got more points than you today. I will be like, the fuck he does. I will not go to bed.
Now I'm going to do it out of spite.
Yeah, well, you have to. That's the best reason to do stuff. You have to.
My will to live is do out of spite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, let's segue this back into the conversation. Like, how many videos have you posted out of spite because people have been like, "Oh, he doesn't care. He's not really interested in this stuff. He's not even a real collector."
If people could even see my expression right now, they would know.
Oh, they will.
There's so much spite.
Yeah.
But it's good spite. It's good spite because it's like the challenge of being super competitive, but it's weird because I'm not competitive, but I'm like, I'm gonna do good things so bad you're gonna wish I didn't do good things so bad. Like that's what it is for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like people are like, oh, it's impossible to be that nice. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Look, the phrase "kill him with kindness" started somewhere.
Oh yeah. I want to know what the other part of that phrase was, because if you can kill people with kindness, imagine what love will do.
What? I don't know, man. That's too much power for humans.
Yeah, it's like we got to use 20% of our brain capacity to understand that one. Because I'm just like, I can tell you there are a ton of videos that I have done out of love spite, where it was like, I'm going to make this thing that nobody cares about care about because I love it so much. And that's where all the Kamen Rider videos come from. Yeah. I remember when someone told me that Kamen Rider would never be popular in the US. Look at us now. Look at us now.
What is it, like 60% of your channel?
Exactly. But even better, like I was able to bring over Kamen Rider to P-Bandai US. I was able to have us distribute Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider in the US, working with Bandai. Like we even got Team Kamen Rider out of it. I worked with all of those people to bring that over, and that was a big deal for me. I don't give a shit that no one says I could ever take credit for it. I know what I did, but it was because I was able to work with those people and go, guys, there's a fan base here. I promise you, I will help you build it up. I promise you, we will get there, and we did. We did.
So I'm gonna bring up some of your pictures here. Who is this?
Oh, that is, I haven't read. That's Kamen Rider Buffer from the new series Kamen Rider Geats. He starts off as a anti-villain, and then by where we are in the show now, he's still more of an anti-hero. There's a lot of dark stuff going on with him, but this is one of those things where the gimmick of the show, it's really nice because we can part swap due to their gimmicks. So I could like take his head, put it on his torso, and swap their bottom part. Like you can actually have a lot of fun with these guys.
Like I know Super Sentai. I got some handle on Godzilla and Ultraman, but when it comes to Kamen Rider, like my knowledge stops at like Super 1.
That's okay. I'm really hoping for a renewal Super 1. And then we have like Gokai Red, which I'm hoping to get his video out tonight. I want to finish his photos first. But the new Shinkocho Seiho Gokai Red, this thing is amazing. Like,
yeah, dude, I saw your comparison photos, and
so good.
I hate that SHF killed that line. The Super Sentai.
So let me be frank with you. US did that.
US sales, right? Or is that a Power Rangers thing?
Both the US sales and Hasbro buying Power Rangers killed this line. Because this was originally before the Hasbro merger deal, them buying Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. This would have been released in the US.
I got you.
$65.
Yeah. Well, I gotta imagine like Toys R Us closing didn't help all that either, because even like Shinkenger, those figures, Power Rangers, Samurai.
Yeah. So
even those were showing up at I got my first SHF, the Shinken Red I bought at Toys R Us on clearance.
For like $15. But the problem with that was, and this is a huge issue, is that US people wait for things to go on clearance.
Right.
And it's like, but in Japan, they need sales from those first 3 months to know whether or not a line is doing well.
Well, and I think at the time that was too far ahead. I think if that hit now, people would get it. Like the market, the pricing, everything has changed to the point where adult collectors expect a price like that now. And if Toys R Us or anybody was rolling out a line like that at $60 a figure, but you knew you were going to get it within a month or so of it shipping, and being released, I think people wouldn't have a problem with that now. You're not going to sell it to the kids, but that's not who it's for.
Yeah, but that was a problem. It was trying to be sold to kids, and in Toys R Us, that was the problem.
Yeah.
So the other issue being is that here's the other big problem is that after Mighty Morphin, people don't care.
No, absolutely not.
People always abandon the line.
Not the same way. Same way. Yeah.
Yeah, like they'll just go, "Oh, Mighty Morphin, we're done. You gave us the 6 Rangers plus White Ranger. We don't care anymore." And then people always say that all the time. It's like, I'm telling you, look, I love Power Ranger fans. I got no beef with them, but I got beef with y'all practices. Because what happens is you get the first 6, you get White Ranger, and then you just stop caring. It's like, dude, I need you guys to show up for everybody else who came after you. But y'all so selfish in Mighty Morphin that you won't do that.
It is such a weird thing to me, and I cannot think of a comparison that would be the same thing in Japan as Power Rangers is in the US. Like this is a 50-year-old franchise with a different team every single season. Every single year has its own team, and the US market just latched onto like this one. And especially now, it seems like that's where we're at, is like this 1 year from 1992 or whatever it is.
92 to 96. But here's the other problem, right? There were these, I feel like it's a Saban issue because he emphasized and changed so much, which I think it was great for its time. He made these changes. Mm-hmm. But you know what the biggest problem with that was? You focus too much on these same set of kids.
Right.
Like there was no, and then when you finally did bring in another set because you found out it was successful, you dragged it along too long.
Right.
You dragged it along too long. Then you completely skipped over Die Ranger, which is one of the best ones.
I'll never forgive him for that.
Oh,
it hurt for me, especially because I knew we were never going to go backwards either. We were never going to get my boys here. We were never going to get, Denjimon or Goku 5 or any of them. It was never going to go backwards.
For all of that. And they just was decided like, no, we're going to use teenagers with attitude. It's like, dude, if you had used Jetman, you could have had adults and it could have been awesome.
And I don't even care. Like, I don't even care if they used baby children for Sun Vulcan. Just give me the figures in the US.
Yeah.
Give me
it's like
stuff.
you skipped over all these other cool seasons where, don't get it twisted, I love Zoo Ranger. Zoo Ranger, awesome. But if you watch Jetman or Live Man and then you watch Zoo Ranger, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, Jetman, all you know. And Zoo Ranger was awesome in Japan, especially because them killing Burai was
spoiler
awesome.
alert.
Me, I forget this also happened like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I got worried for a second. I'm like, wait, this happened 25 years ago. Whatever. But it's crazy because in the US, they brought back Tommy. You know what would have been awesome? Actually killing him off for what he did and like making it really like, you know, cool.
Stakes, yeah.
But then I also think about the other end with American parents being jerks. You guys killed Optimus Prime.
It's a different entity. It's, you know, we cover it all the time on the show with the way that different things around the world work. And, you know, I mean, Gotcha Man, you know, hacked to bits to bring it over to the US as Battle of the Planets and, you know, all that stuff. I'm going to run through a couple of your other photographs here. We got, speaking of Kamen Rider.
Shin Kamen Rider.
I just wanted to show off for people who aren't familiar, who haven't seen your channel yet, just some of your photography here. Maybe to make them a little jealous, you know, whatever. I don't get, like, I was looking at retro Snake Eyes today, classified retro Snake Eyes, Walmart exclusive. There's reviews for that figure up from 7 months ago. Mine doesn't ship until like July.
I still don't have one. I was willing to pay the extra money though, because I missed the pre-order, and I'm like, do I want to pay $38? Yes, I do want to pay $38.
Look, I ordered 2 to get the free shipping, so if you need one,
yes, please let me know what I owe you. I will gladly pay you $38. If you would like $38, yes.
So how do you have this one?
So CMD store had it, just like those Arctic bats. And it's funny too because I explained in the video the first 19 seconds I got it from CMD store. So
you don't have to explain anything to anyone.
I'm gonna tell you why I explain it, because no one's gonna believe me anyway. So I need alibis.
Yeah.
So it's funny too because I don't like withholding that information, but the reason why I don't tell people is because I get criticized for it anyway. So I'm like, I might as well just save the extra 35 seconds of breath. You know, it doesn't make sense.
We call it comment mediation, right? Like, you know, I'll have the script written for a video, and Greg will be like, you really need to throw this line in, because if you don't, we're going to get a million comments where people are like, you forgot, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, fine. We'll throw that one sentence in.
It's a shame that I have to do that, because I think the internet has made it so that people want to point out any wrongdoing, but not actually fix any wrongdoing. And that bothers me.
Well, I feel like every time we post a video, every time I'm writing a script, and this goes back to 4 minutes or less when we were doing actual figure reviews and stuff, or just when I'm doing a booth video, I feel like I'm preparing for a test. Like, I feel like I got to answer all these certain questions because everybody's just watching to listen to see if I forget to say something, or I didn't comment on a thing, or I didn't notice a thing. It's just this game of like, I got you, you know?
Yeah, it's a litmus test to see who wants to be the biggest winner,
who knows the most. Yeah.
But it's a weird place, because it's also like, people will tell me, well, why didn't you compare it to this? I'm like, dude, I only have but so much time and space.
Yeah, I didn't think of every single possible comparison, and I don't own every single figure. But one of the things I like, and it comes through here in some of these photos I grabbed off of your Twitter account. We always try to approach it with the philosophy of like, we just want to have our own voice. You know, we want to just be unique, so that you could go watch Pixel Dan's reviews, go watch the Fwoosh, go watch Shardamus at the time, go watch The Amazing, go watch everybody.
Exactly. That's what
you're still going to come check us out, because you're going to say, okay, well, what did Dan do with it? What did Dan say about it? How did they make this look? And I feel like that's something that, you know, even if you're not getting the figure first or anything, you still bring that. You know, it's like, well, yeah, okay, I already know everything about this figure, but what did The Amazing do with it?
Well, that's what I love about all of us doing what we do. That's kind of why I still do it. Like, because I get really intrusive thoughts about this, and I get a lot of intrusive thoughts because the internet makes me feel so worthless sometimes.
It's good at that.
It's very good at that. And it's like, should I just drop reviewing so that way other people could have their time? But I realize there's more than enough time. There's more than enough time for all of us. I tell people all the time, I know for a fact you're not going to listen to me, because those of you that are listening to me, you fell asleep already. I know my voice put you to bed. So if you are still listening, go to the end of the video, look at the pretty pictures. I know what you're here for. You know what I mean? I'm not even mad at it. I know what you guys are here for. That's why I'm like, yo, at least do it from the size comparison to the photos, so that way YouTube can give me my little $7. You know, you know, because I'm telling you, like, I know what people come to me for. It's for the pretty photos. I get it. I get it. That's my favorite part too.
Yeah,
Absolutely my favorite part.
Well, it's a testament. It speaks to the fact that you are obviously having fun, you know, taking the pictures and shooting the stuff. You know, you don't spend that much time to get the light right, to get the background right, to get the angle right. You know, I know that this is one of 100 exposures. You know, like, this is the right shot. I mean, maybe we got it right on the first shot. Who knows? Sometimes that happens.
No, I never get it right the first try. I hate that I can't do that. I hate that. Woo! My boy Signal Man.
Yeah. So that's one that you know, I mentioned in the open that whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, you are a ruthless salesperson because you do. It's your photography, your posing, all that stuff. That was another thing I wanted to mention. Let's talk about posing for a sec. This is probably not the best example of posing here.
No, it is a good example because it shows you the character. Like, listen, it's like Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey can have one line in the movie, but when Jim Carrey says his line, it sticks. Everybody remembers it. Subtle posing, whether it's wild or just like this, it tells a story. That's what we need. I get what you're saying. Like, I love posing. Posing is like, other than the photography, the posing is like my other favorite part.
Well, it's a weird concept for people who aren't in it. And so if I say like, oh, D Amazing is a good poser, they'd be like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're talking about. What posing? What is he, a model? You know, like he can be. I don't know. But it's that trying to find the character or trying to find interesting engaging action poses, whether it's a casual pose like this, or something that's, a ninja kick through the air, fighting off, 15 ninjas or whatever, it's that,
those are my favorite.
It's that trying to get that storytelling in it. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think there are a lot of people who pick up an action figure and don't treat it like it's a body, don't treat it like it's a person.
Yeah, they don't.
And I think that's where good posing comes from, is having that sort of understanding of the weight and the way that a body moves and the way that a punch is thrown and how to communicate it. Did you ever get the book, the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way?
Absolutely. Bought all 4 volumes.
Yeah. And so there's that sort of idea that there are different ways to show someone punching, right? Like you can just, there's this, or there's like the follow through that it's like really exaggerated and the punch has already connected, or there's the pulling back to throw it. But, a regular person just like in a fight out in the street doesn't throw a punch the same way a superhero does.
Exactly. And that's kind of stuff I try to match with, like, for instance, right? This guy, even though you don't know anything about Kamen Rider, this is the main character of this year's season. He's very tactical, very agile, very precise. This guy flails through fighting, just wildly swings. Like, that's the kind of stuff I was aiming for when you see these photos. It is a representation of the character. And I'm glad you noticed that, because a lot of people will go, some people, like you said, will see it and go, all this stuff looks the same. It's like, well, if you're in the Kamen Rider, everything is an archetype of each other. Yeah. So I kind of get that. But when you see me do like Superman stuff, it'll be completely different from the vibes that I have for Batman. It'll be completely different. I won't have Superman do a rider kick, like, Right.
Well, and then there's also this sort of playing within the limitations of the figure itself. And that's one thing that I tend to find challenging. This figure has some of that, where he's got the drop down hips. And so you got to kind of like watch where the armor is contacting each other. You don't want to get those like grooves in it from too much rubbing. But, there's also limitations to how far can the torso turn? How far can the shoulders go up? How far up does the neck go? And it's like the poses you pick out and use to show off the dynamism of that figure are also reflective of the limitations of the articulation.
Which, it's funny because if you watch my video, I'll be sitting here breaking the figure for y'all. And people are like, you didn't do enough. I'm like, I broke my figure for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else I can do for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I say, you're a very good salesperson, it's that I had seen pictures of this figure. I saw it when it was announced. I saw the Hasbro live stream and other people posting pictures of it and stuff. And I was just like, oh, that's an easy pass. Like, I haven't watched I think he's from Car Ranger. I can't remember if he's from Car Ranger or Turbo Ranger.
Yeah. He's in Car and in Turbo Ranger actually.
Well, the Japanese seasons or
Yes.
Power Rangers Turbo?
Both.
Okay.
Like so because those 2 seasons, I don't know if you watch enough of it, like when they do the team up movies.
Mm-hmm.
So in the movies, he had an appearance with Phantom.
Okay,
Ranger.
I got you. Oh, so he showed up in because I think Car Ranger is like the 6th or 7th season, something like that, and then Turbo Ranger is like later.
Yeah.
Regardless,
in the Japanese history, it's a little less convoluted because once you get into space, they go, yeah, you're from a different world, but you know what's gonna happen is like this guy patrols across those worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
But my point is, I had seen pictures of this figure, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
And then I saw your pictures, and I was like, oh, maybe I do care.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, because I had gotten I was not going to get the Phantom Ranger. I wasn't going to get him. I passed. I was like, yeah, he looks cool. I don't know. The neck's a little short. I don't really see it. I didn't watch that season.
Those pictures lie to you, though, because by the time I get to it in the video, I'm like, man, this guy's moving.
Yeah. And then this is where you called me out.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. I did call you out. I'm sorry. You were like, oh, they can't move. I'm like, you were wrong, Dan. You were wrong.
And so I grabbed Phantom Ranger, and then Signal Man came out, and it was like, oh well, now you have to get Signal Man. And I was like, I'm not getting him. It's not going to happen. And then now, in Signal Man's defense here, it was on clearance, and it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, that was an error. I saw that. That was
it was like a $30 figure, whatever it was, and I grabbed it for like $10 or something.
So it's already a good figure, but now you got it at $10. Say no more. I mean, you know, I can't blame people.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Figure. I hope they do his bike.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is the McFarlane, right?
Yes. Now this is crazy because this is probably one of my favorite McFarlane figures, and I don't really enjoy all of his figures. Not to say like it's a bad thing, but it's tough for me to like enjoy his stuff. But I have a weird love for Warhammer that makes no sense.
Did that exist before Joy Toy?
It did.
Okay.
It did. The problem was I don't do miniatures. So when McFarlane was making these action figures, I bought a shit ton of these for no reason. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I've seen this before and I need it.
And you weren't painting them or anything?
Huh? No, I wasn't even painting them.
Yeah.
I was like I was even taking pictures of the grayscale ones because I can't paint. So it was like grayscale ones. I had them looking like statues. They were just cool. Like, I love these things. I don't know what it is about Warhammer. Maybe it's because it's so bleak and sad. It allows me to be happy. I don't know, but that universe is so sad. There's nothing.
Even not knowing a single thing about it, and I don't know a single thing about it, I still have to acknowledge that there are some cool ass designs in there. This is the only Warhammer figure I own, and I bought it before I saw your pictures. So
it worked out. It worked out. It would have made you buy it.
But I still haven't gone in on Joy Toy because there's price issues there, and yeah, I've seen it's just too much, man.
Send me address. I'll send you 2 of them.
It's too much.
I'll send you 2 of them so that way you can be one of us.
No, man, I'm not doing it.
Yes,
no, I'm very happy that I am not that Joy Toy has gone all in on Warhammer, and I am out on Warhammer. That has saved me so much money.
You know what? I'm gonna be fair. Let's not cost you any more money. I'm not gonna push that.
That's good.
They're not gonna push that. But oh god, I love this Predator.
Predators pretty much passed me by too. I didn't get in on that. I have a few.
No, it's good. It's good. I mean, my problem with Predator toys is that not enough people do good Predator toys. Like NECA is probably the best there is because they're the most consistent. I don't care that they use the same bodies. I don't give a shit. Like, I love Predator. So like the more you give me, the more I'll buy. I don't even care. Like,
and you're probably not gonna. Do you have any of the Haya Toys ones?
I do. I have 24 of them.
Oh, okay. That's a few.
and it was crazy too because I don't take pictures of them because they're all single jointed. But I kept buying them because I love Predator. Like they were doing Predators that nobody else was doing. So I'm like, I'm gonna buy all my favorites. I don't care. But if those 1/18 scale Predators had just been double jointed, I would have probably had way more than 24. I would have.
Yeah, I bought one. I bought one of the, because I'm a big translucent collector, obviously. I bought one of the stealth versions of one of them. I can't remember which one it was. And that's sort of what I found was, it was like, oh, I can't really do anything with this. Like, it's cool. It's a highly detailed. It looks fantastic. All the little accessories, the just things that I thought were too small to make it that scale.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like with that.
Like I don't need the blades, you know, to be retractable at that
Going all the
scale.
way up his arm.
Yeah, I don't need that. But I just, you know, they wouldn't hold poses. You couldn't really do much with them. Just the joints are too weak at that scale to be able to really pull off anything dynamic. So that was something I wasn't really going to pursue.
But now High is moving into 112, and I'm like, please do 112 scale Predators, please.
Didn't I mean Mezco did one, right?
Yeah, I love that thing.
Oh, but they only did the one.
Yeah, unfortunately, only one. I wish they would have done Jungle Hunter. I would have been like, man, give me battle damage, give me non-battle damage, give me a helmet. I love Predator. I have a whole bias of Predator. Hey, Bishop.
There you go. There you go. They're Bishop and this guy over here too.
Yeah, man, forget that guy. He's tall. He's tall for a toy, which is crazy because I'm short as hell.
I think we kind of covered. We'll cover this real quick. Like, what made you start doing YouTube?
Two things. I lost a bet. That was
okay.
One. And the bet was that I can't make a video because too many other people at the time were making videos. So I said, no, I'm going to do it. But more importantly, I got pushed by a bunch of my friends to review import toys because import toys at the time were getting a lot of hate for no apparent reason. And I was like, I'm going to start informing people like this is what it can do, because a lot of people were just skimming over that. And my early videos are garbage, and I love it. I love that they're garbage because I was just learning all this stuff. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. I just jumped on, and I think that was part of the fun of it. It was exciting to go, oh shit, I'm on YouTube. That's cool.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It was really invigorating. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. There was no focus. I was all over the place. Until this day, I still don't script a jack shit. I'm like, so it was just fun. It was pure fun. And then I think years in, I was like, I'm going to add photos at the end. And then someone told me I should add music. So I was like, you know what? I'll add music. And that was the only time I ever learned any type of editing. That was it.
And obviously you're a one-person production.
Yep. My wife will help pull stuff together in iMovie, but I'll finish all the other stuff. So she'll just like literally drag everything in and I'll just fix it all up.
So how long were you doing it before you sort of found your voice and your style for your videos?
3 years before I like really found my way. I was following all of the other types of people, other format, and I hated that. And you know, I went by what I knew by seeing because I'm a visual learner, and I was like, I need to unlearn all of that and just do what I want. And I think when I added photos and music at the end, that first year was probably my happiest time on YouTube.
When it sort of clicked for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I think that year I uploaded 130 videos.
And did you feel like there was a sort of shift in your attitude about those videos where maybe there had been some sort of like, I know I've got some weak spots, I'm really still self-conscious about it. Did you feel like there was a shift where maybe you started to say like, you know what, this is me, this is what I'm doing, I'm having fun, and I like what the product I'm putting out?
I always feel like that simultaneously. I literally always I try not to make videos unless I feel like that. And even when I'm down, I still feel good because I know this is going to be good for people. But I'm never not self-conscious about my videos because, again, the internet makes me feel like garbage. Like I don't know if you have to go through this, but I wake up and it's always negative comments at the top. So I don't ever check comments because of that.
So so fortunately we're a two-person team, myself and producer Greg, and he is emotionless when it comes to that kind of stuff. He just sees it as a binary kind of thing. You know, it's just a data point to him. Being in front of the camera and having my voice out there and my face out there and my performance out there, and I wrote the script, you know, I take it, unfortunately, I'm a human being, I take it too personally.
That's how I feel.
So for my own mental health, 3 years ago, I just stopped reading the comments. I had to. I had to.
It's what I call Rule 42. We don't read the comments. Rule 14 is homie help homies, but Rule 42, never read the comment section.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like I'll open up the YouTube app so I can like do stuff, and it'll be that big notification, and you know, everybody curiosity. Oh, let me see what that is. Then it'll roll all the comments, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna doom scroll now.
Well, and you start like, you know, okay, are any of these comments addressing a technical thing? Was my sound fucked up and I didn't realize it? Did things get all wonky and the compression of uploading to YouTube? And when you don't see that, you're like, okay, relief point number one, I don't have to re-upload the video. And then it's like, okay, did I mess anything up? I called him, you know, whatever. I called him Ultraman Taro instead of Ultraman Ace. And now everybody's like, you don't know anything about Ultraman, you know, like, or is it something worse than that? You know,
like right now I'm dealing with a lens issue. My lens is having trouble focusing on wide areas. Even after I switch completely to manual, it still has trouble doing it. So for like the last 30 videos, it's been a long-standing issue. People in the comment section, this video is unwatchable. This is fucking awful. Me, guys, I know it's an issue, but I don't have $1,100 to buy a new camera. So either I keep making videos or I make no videos. People next day, this shit is horrible. It's hard to focus. I'm like,
yeah. Just a guy. I'm just the guy making videos. Like,
so now I just make stuff for my enjoyment, and once it's out in the world, I know I can't take it back. The robots will have it.
That's all you can do. So how do you balance? How do you keep that sort of balance there? That, you know, there's the fun, but there's the work, and part of the work is making it look like fun. But
thankfully, as frustrating as work is always fun. Even when it's frustrating, work is always fun, and I got to give it credit for that. There are moments where the frustration will outweigh the fun, but work is still always fun. The other issue is that I like doing things, like going outside, but my job is about staying inside and being a fucking pack rat at home, and I hate that. So I like going out and doing stuff, and then I'll be like, I gotta go home now, guys. So that's how I feel half the time.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't do long trips anymore, because it'll be like, you know, guys, let's do a weekend in Vegas. No, I got work I gotta do. So it'll be like, all right, let's do like an 8-hour trip somewhere, and we'll do that. But I don't do like weekend trips like that anymore, because if work pops up or something happens, I gotta be ready and available. So
it's a grind. It's all a grind. And, you know, there's not, YouTube doesn't pay the way it used to. And when I say used to, we don't have any experience with it because we weren't around back then, when in the golden days, when everybody was making tons of money on YouTube. And
most of those people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So jealous.
And the way that the algorithm and stuff works now, I don't think it worked the same way back then either. I can't really speak with any, you know, experience because we weren't there yet, but it is terrifying to miss a week, to miss a post, and to get, you know, out of that algorithm and watch your stats start to go down. And so, yeah, part of not wanting to go anywhere or do anything is like, you're like, I got to get my videos posted. I got to have stuff out there. I have to feed the robots, you know?
Listen, like, I don't think my YouTube, other than my subscriber count, I don't think my stats have ever gone back up since 2022. They only go.
Yeah.
They never, with the exception of me doing the world tour stuff a couple months back, which did this, and then 3 days later, it's nothing, because people don't, I don't know what they care about anymore, because I don't think they know what they care about anymore. The algorithm, look, 80 new figures released this week, right? Unless I did 74 in-hand photo shots, you would never know I got everything, which is impossible for me to even do. But then the 3 days later when I posted, no one cares anyway, because the algorithm's telling you to move on to the next thing. It doesn't matter. You can't even see things chronologically anymore, even if you wanted to.
No.
So none of it matters anymore. So that's why, at least on the social media part, I just post what I want. Exactly. I don't really care no more. I don't care. Like, and as far as YouTube goes, it's like, hey, once it's out there, ain't nothing I can do anyway. So screw it. Like,
that leads perfectly into my next question, is that, you know, it was very hard for me when we were doing figure reviews. I always felt that pressure of having to get a figure that maybe I didn't even want, you know, but I knew it was going to be important to the community and collectors and reviewers. And it was like, I got to get those numbers. I got to be able to chase those numbers. And so for me, one of the best things that ever happened, both for my sanity and for my budget, was not chasing that anymore, not having to always have the newest, shiniest thing, the full build a figure because I bought the whole wave, you know, all that kind of stuff. Do you find yourself, and it sounds like you already answered this question, do you find yourself just saying, guys, you do what you want to do? Well, I got to do what's going to make me happy.
I'm going to be honest. Most of the stuff that I have ends up being what people want to see. For instance, everyone knows I love Spider-Man. Like, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get something Spider-Man out of me. I'll never get tired of that. But like everything else, I'm pretty sure I know for a fact when it comes to like the Kamen Rider and the Super Sentai stuff, there are a lot of people who like, I want to see that, but then the big Marvel DC guys, they all get disappointed when they see that from me. Like, I don't want to see shit. Me, I'm like, nah, you're gonna get this. You're gonna get it whether you want it or not. Like, I don't care. Like,
time to learn about something new.
I had to stop caring about what everybody else wants me to review so I can be happy. And I had to stop caring about the new shiny thing because in the early times of YouTube, having a new shiny thing didn't matter anyway, because people wanted to see me do cool stuff with it on the camera. And like I said, I think we're at a weird age of people want these spectacular transitions, like these TikToks and reels and all that. I'm like, I can't do any of that fancy shit. But I can make Spider-Man look cool.
Exactly.
All you're going to hear is just the joint squeaking. That's all you're going to hear from me. I don't have no fancy magic. Yeah. I can't. I don't care.
How do you...
The biggest flex is that I can go to a bar and make people care about what I'm doing with an action figure.
That's talent.
Yeah. Like it was one time we went to a bar in the city and it's like, a guy was like, yeah, you really brought an action figure to a bar? I was like, yeah, watch what I make it do. And then like we lit a candle. Actually, we did this at San Diego. We did it with the new G.I. Joes. We were at a bar in San Diego. It was me and a bunch of other people. And we were talking about comics and toys. We took the G.I. Joe stalker, lit a candle next to it, took out our phones, and I showed them how you can well light even in the dark area.
Nice.
People at the bar like, give this man a drink. And I'm just like, what is going on? You know, it's just stalker. I'm just showing people a toy. He's like, no, this looks. One guy was so drunk. He's like, how'd you do this? Can you put this on my phone? So I took a picture on his phone, and he was just confused, like, how'd you do that? Like, eh. So
sounds like a good bar to be at for SDCC.
It was an excellent bar. 10 out of 10 recommend.
How do you keep your collection from just sprawling, from taking over your life? Do you prune? Do you get rid of stuff? Do you cycle stuff out? Like, you can't keep everything.
Oh no, it's impossible. Always sell the old, make room for the new. If it doesn't bring joy, give it the boot.
You have to. Yeah. I this year I had to put. I've sort of been working on it since last year. A set of rules to sort of keep my budget and to keep my happiness in check. You know, I see a lot of collectors expressing on social media that, you know, it doesn't make them as happy as it used to, and having all the stuff, having all the physical things doesn't make them as happy as it used to. And I think about that because I wonder, like, well, why are you buying it in the first place? Like, what are you expecting from it? You know,
I think that a lot of people get to a point where they're buying stuff because they all see us buying stuff, and they're not buying stuff because they enjoy it. I tell people all the time, buy it because it brings you genuine happiness. That means every time you look at it, there's a smile there. Do not buy this because I tricked you into it, because there are people who literally write in my comment section, I tricked them into buying this. I'm like, no, motherfucker, I'm just happy. I am genuinely happy.
And so, I cannot promise that this will make you the same kind of happy.
Exactly. But no, like it's a weird thing because I feel bad because people are like, I tricked them into doing this, but in my head I'm like, wait a second, like, but I'm just happy to have this. And then I always ask myself, like, what did I say wrong? What, like, I feel bad because I'm like, what did I do to make you feel like that? Did you have that joy that I had? Or were you happy to see that I had it? And I think that's kind of where people can't identify with. A lot of people also, like, we're on this point where commercialism has gotten to a place where we think we're buying what we want, but we're not. It's like, dude, I have tattooed Spider-Man on my body twice. I really love Spider-Man. Like, I'm not going to question my love for Spider-Man. But I am going to question my love for Warhammer. I don't know why it brings me joy, but it does. The day it doesn't, it's all gone, though. It's that simple. You know, that's the different levels of love. You, like, go to your therapist. See about your levels of love. See if are you just, like, in a fling with this toy? And, you know, you're going to throw it aside like some floozy? Or do you love it? You know, when you look at a toy, do you look at it in a way like, all right, I can see you on my shelf forever? Or are you looking at it like, we had a couple one-night stands, I'm done with you? You know, but you got to really identify that. Especially if you're getting that same level of dopamine from it.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. All right, I got like 2 more questions for you. One question is, have you ever considered putting together like a book of your photography? Anything like that? Selling prints?
It is literally in the works. It has been a long time because I tried doing prints, and the problem was the way that I do lighting in my photos. On a picture, it comes out horrible when you print it. So I'm still working out the kinks on that. I've been talking to Sergeant Bananas, aka Johnny, about doing a book. He's helping me do that. So it is all coming.
Excellent. Any ideas about, have you ever thought of doing your own action figures? Have you ever thought of, because I get that question all the time, what would you do if you're going to do a line of action figures? And I'm like, I'm just enjoying what's out there. I haven't really thought about like what I would make. Everything's out there already.
I would 100% do it, but the reason why I won't, because it would fail. It would fail. I'm watching our friends do these lines and they struggle, and I'm not scared of failure. I just know that I would fail because I don't have half the popularity that they have with people. I'm popular in the sense where you love seeing my stuff, but a lot of people don't know me on a personal level like their fan base knows them. Like, people are like streaming with these guys. They're in the comment section every day. They're posting their work every day. I don't get that kind of love. Not because they don't love me the same way. They love me differently. People love my art. I don't think they would love my toys. Because you would have to give me money to you get the toys. And a lot of people don't have money right now.
No, it's true. There's too much out there.
Yeah.
There's too much stuff out there to collect. Too many. And that's what I always say is I'm like, what do you want me to make another line that's like a cool guy with a mask and a jetpack and claws and stuff? Like, it's already out there.
Don't get it twisted. Like, on YouTube, there are 21 people who give me $4 a month. I allocate that money so I can do really cool things for them. I talk to them. I spend the time out personally because YouTube set it up that way. They should have a perk. That is their perk. They get to ask me all sorts of questions that normally I'm like, I don't have time for this. But you know what? You gave me $4. That bought me approximately 16 cups of coffee. I need those cups of coffee.
You're keeping me alive.
Yes. Like, I don't know if you know, but I'll upload something at 3 a.m. You want to know why? I had coffee. So you know what? Those 21 people holding it down for the rest of y'all. So to those other 90,000 people who like watch me, remember those 21 are holding it down for the rest.
Keeping it up, yeah.
You know, coffee, man.
Well, that segue.
Water at nighttime is coffee.
That segues into my last question here. Any advice to people starting out? It's a different game than it was when you started. Any advice to people either starting out just as, first of all, as a photographer, and then second of all, as a YouTuber?
Okay, if for photography, so if you are going to be a photographer, the number one biggest thing is you should always have fun. When you get frustrated, remember that if you are not enjoying it, you don't have to do it. Unless you're getting paid for it, then that's a different story. But the YouTube, listen, unless you're sponsored, you ain't making no money. And I ain't sponsored, so what that say?
You're not doing it for the money. I will vouch for that.
There's no money in that. And it's not that I don't want to be sponsored. Shout out to Liquid Metal. They actually did reach out. I'm hoping that does work out. But Liquid Death, I said Liquid Metal. Liquid Death, sorry. But but seriously, like, unless you got like sponsorships, YouTube is at maximum on the best. After I've uploaded 47 videos a month, I've made approximately $1,300. Do you know how much it costs buying figures a month? Triple that.
Yeah.
I've made no money.
I don't know exactly what the cost of living is where you live, but it's higher than where I live.
Absolutely.
And at $1,300 a month isn't even going to pay rent in my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. $1,300 will cover my new lens, right? So, but I spent all this time buying figures so I can review stuff that I enjoy for you guys to see. How am I supposed to buy a new lens? You see the conundrum? It's a vicious cycle of
you got a lot of blood that you can sell. You look healthy right now.
Hey, I like staying in shape, and trust me, y'all don't want my blood. It's all water. It's very thin water.
D Amazing, thank you very much for joining me here today in the Secret Lounge. Please, everyone, make sure you check him out on social media and especially YouTube. We'll put links in the description down below. Get your tickets for PowerCon this August.
Please do.
Meet D Amazing. I'll be there as well. Pixel Dan, Fwoosh, Four Horsemen, McFarlane Toys, Spiro, Boss Fight, and tons of vendors with tons of stuff. It was amazing last year, and it's supposed to be twice as big this year. As always, guests of the Secret Lounge are provided with $10 in free tokens redeemable at the Boardwalk Arcade just 6 hours from here.
Ooh.
Take it easy, D.